Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next drawing. I just laid out this last one. This is what you guys should have done. Remember that you needed to have exported it and uploaded it into the classroom notebook. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to this one. This one is relatively easy. Let's look at it. It is a circular object or a cylinder. If we look at it from the side, it does have an angled circle or an angled cutout, which means that it could be what is it, a countersunk hole. So there's just a few different ways that we can make this. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go to a new standard IPT, or this is in the English system. So this is this is in inches. So let's go ahead and create something on the XY plane. The easiest way to do this is we're just going to go ahead and create two circles. The first one is going to have a diameter of 1.3. That is the inner diameter here, and then an outer diameter of 1.872. So 1.872. Okay, and then that's that. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and extrude this. So over here, just going to go ahead and click extrude, and we're going to extrude this by 0.094, which is very, very small, 0.094. Okay, we're going to turn it around to the back so that way we can see what we're doing, and we're going to go to hole. Okay, on this side, we're going to click here, and we're going to use this inner surface as our concentric reference. Okay, so that way it puts it right on the center. And we're going to switch this over to a countersink. Okay, so it's a countersink. The largest outer diameter is going to be 1.5. Okay, so we type that in. It has a 44-degree angle, as we see here. And in this part here will only go in 0.062, but that figures it out for us, so we don't have to put anything in. And then it has like this hole on the inside, but we don't have to put anything in since it does it for us. So let's look at it from this direction so we can see what's happening. Hopefully something is happening, but it doesn't look like it is. So this might not be the best way to do this, so let's backtrack and go back to the beginning. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to restart, and all I did was I clicked undo. I just undid everything until I go back to the beginning, and I'm going to create a new sketch on the YZ plane. Okay, the only reason why I started off from I went all the way back to the beginning is because putting a countersink hole isn't giving us this cutout that we needed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and draw this profile here up over here. Okay, so I'm just going to over exaggerate what I'm drawing so that way you guys can see it. Okay, so I'm drawing something that looks like this. Okay, like I said, it is over exaggerated what it is that I'm drawing. I'm going to use my horizontal constraint to go ahead and properly locate it in the right location. And then I'm going to use my dimensions to lock it into place. So this is 1.3 divided by 2, okay, because we are going to be revolving this. We do need to go ahead and use radiuses instead of diameters. So our overall diameter is 1.872. We're going to divide that by 2. Okay. And then this right here is 1.5 divided by 2. And then this angle should be 44, but if I put in 44, that is incorrect because it's 44 to the other side, so this should actually be 22. So it should be more like that, okay? And then this is going to be 0.094, so it's very small. And then why did it do that? Let's undo that. Okay, this right here, this guy right here. Okay. Before we put in that angle, I'm just going to delete it. I am going to put in this distance, which is 0.062. Okay, and then I am going to put the angle now, which should, once I put that in, why? Why is it doing this? Why is it being difficult? Okay, let's delete that right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put the angle in because I think I trust the angle more than the diameter. Okay, so there, I like that better. So I'm going to go ahead and put that, and I'm going to revolve it around the z-axis, so that way I end up with something that looks like that. And then I'm going to make a new sketch because I am going to put holes on this front face here. So I am going to put a point right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and dimension that point. So from there to the center, I have a diameter. You guys follow this center line here, and it tells us that that diameter, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I see I put the wrong dimension in the first place. It's 1.872. So that's going to, if I put this in 1.872, it's going to put that way out there divided by 2. Okay. So I'm going to just go back, just say cancel. I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to change this dimension, this 9.3, this dimension here. I'm going to change this to 2.352 divided by 2. There. Just makes it a little bit larger. Okay, so let's go back to sketch 2. I apologize, I put the wrong number in. Okay, so I have that in, and then I'm going to do a circular pattern on my sketch of just that point around this axis 3 times, and say okay, so that way I end up with 3 points. And then I'm going to go to hole, and I'm going to change it to a countersink with the center hole is 0.181, the outer hole 0.330 with an angle of 82, and I end up with something that looks like that. Say okay, that looks good. This is the end. Oops. This is the end of the part. If I look to this over here, that looks right. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and save this. This is 3-1.1, part 2. So let's lay it out on a sheet. Oops. Lay it out on a sheet on your title block, plain title block. Let's go ahead and put our base dimension, this is going to be our base. Let's go ahead and increase the scale. I know that this is going to be a little bit too large, so I'm going to type in 1.5 and say okay. And I just want this right here. And then I'm going to make a section view. So I'm going to hover, just put my mouse right there, move my cursor straight up, move it directly above, and then move it all the way through. I'm not stopping on this point right there. I'm moving straight through the part, right clicking and clicking on continue, moving out. I'm going to click on this little light bulb, and I'm going to turn it off. Click here, say okay, and then I'm going to click on projected of here, and then I'm going to put that and say create, so that way I end up with a what is this called, an isometric of my section view, just like I have over here. Okay, so that's that. Everything looks good. So let's go ahead and put in some center marks. Or some center lines. Okay, so I am going to put my center mark, and I'm going to put in my center line. So from here to here, there's my center line. And then I'm going to put in my, right here, centered pattern. Okay, so I do have a center. I have this pattern going on. I need a center line that goes through all of those holes. So this is the center of that pattern. And I'm going to select all 3 holes. And then I'm going to click on where I started, right click create. So that way I end up with a circular center line. Okay, I am now going to click on dimension. I'm going to click on that center line and this center line. So that way I end up with that angle. And then same thing here. Make sure that you guys are clicking on the lines for the angles, not points, not the green dots, but the lines. So that way I end up with angles. Okay. And then something cool, which I think I have taught you guys before, which is hole and thread notes. Okay, so just like that, like I have this note right here, I can click right here on hole and thread. I can click on this note or this right there, and it gives it to me fully written out. So I can click, and it types everything out for me, so I don't have to do anything further. Okay, but really quickly, what I want to do is I want to right click on a dimension, go to edit dimension style, and I want to increase the precision from 2 decimal places to 3, and click on save and close. And so that way I end up with 3 decimal places instead of just 2. Okay, so when you guys are done with this, make sure that you export it as a PDF and then upload it into the classroom notebook. Okay, make sure that you saved it correctly, 3-1.1 part 2. If I see that it was not saved correctly, you will get points taken off for not following directions. It is very important that you guys start following directions, otherwise your grade is going to start suffering for it. I have been really lenient so far on your grading and your saving practices. Now you guys really have to start buckling down on it. If you guys have any questions or if you need any help, please don't just sit there and expect me to come and help you. You have to ask me. Okay, guys. I hope you guys learned something from this one. I know it was easy, but it was a good one. Okay, thanks, guys.